The Jags are the hottest team in football. True or false?
Nah, they're hot. Yeah, they're definitely hot. That's true.
Does that matter? How much should that matter? You know momentum. You had I remember back in 2016, there was like a 7-game pass win streak to the Super Bowl. Tampa, it matters when it matters. It doesn't always matter. Like, what does this game come down to, Jags-Bills?
It matters until you have a Hall of Fame quarterback on the other side, and a guy that has a cape like Josh Allen, right?
Okay.
Because when I was in my era, in my run, the quarterbacks that are winning Super Bowls was Brady. He won a bunch. The Seattle kind of snuck one in there. Peyton Manning won some with Denver. And then you went to Mahomes. Like, that literally was it. Man, it really matters because playoff football, it's a game 7. Everything's important. It gets condensed. The game shrinks. Every decision's important. And it comes down to those last 2 possessions in the fourth quarter a lot of times because both teams are good. Both teams usually have good coaches. Both teams usually have good quarterbacks. One team might have the best defense or whatnot. It's just the competition's the best of the best, right? We watered out the other half of the league. So it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. It's going to come down to those final possessions. And Josh Allen, when he has it, what he can do with his arm and his legs is special. I don't think Josh Allen's the MVP, but I think he's the best player in football, right? And that is because of the talent this guy has. And James Cook is having a really good year alongside him. So I know Buffalo doesn't have their best defense that he's had in his career, but I do think that Josh Allen, because of the wide openness of this playoffs, this is Josh Allen's year to have to get it done because he's not going to have many more years when you have Burrow and Mahomes, them not in it.
Let's take a look at the whole schedule because you have the Bills winning. Is there a game that we didn't touch here? I think we might have touched.
I got all road teams, as you see, other than my Pats. I got a bunch of road teams. I think you're going to see the most lower seeds winning the playoffs than we've had in quite some time.
Okay.
You know, I have Houston. I have Buffalo. I have the Pats. On the other side, I have the Rams winning on the road. I have the Niners winning on the road. And I have the Packers winning on the road. So that's what I tell you about home field advantage in the wild card. I don't really think it matters. I think a lot of experience are lower teams this year. Hey, maybe my bracket's a little funky. I don't know, but that's what I got coming out this round.
I like it. And then I'm looking at those, the Broncos and the Seahawks. Neither of them are your Super Bowl pick, as my producers have told me who you have. I think you have Rams, Bills.
Rams, Bills. Yeah, I have the experience of Matt Stafford, and I have the experience of Josh Allen to will it to happen this year.
Talk me out of the Broncos here. Why not? You know, like home field, they're healthy. Why not the Broncos?
That bye week is tricky, man. That bye week.
What do you mean?
So in New England, right?
Yeah.
Our hardest game. Look, in total, they're all hard. But the toughest game, the game we're usually trailing the most, other than Super Bowls, obviously, was the divisional round because we came off of not playing for a week. And that was even hard for Tom Brady to get back in rhythm. So if you're a team like Matt Stafford or something that really could have used the rest and have a really experienced quarterback, I like it. But for Sam Darnold, for Bo Nix and these guys, I would like to continue to play. Coming a week off, because when you have a week off, right, and everyone tells you how great you are, we all know that stuff, the rat poison, as Nick Saban would say. But you're playing another team that just either had an upset or a big playoff win for them. They're coming with a lot of momentum. So when we were, the Patriots, we knocked off the Titans, right? We were a 6 seed or 7. We knocked off the Patriots. Huge win for the franchise. We're riding high. So we went to Baltimore. Baltimore was 14-2 that year. They had 14 Pro Bowlers. Lamar Jackson was a runaway MVP. We were picked by no one to win. And we went and we beat Baltimore. Blew them out. Really not that competitive, right? And then we went to the AFC Championship game. So when you're that home team, you're that number 1 team coming off that bye week, that is a very tough game, right, to catch the momentum of the other teams. So you really got to execute down the stretch. But that's how we knocked off Baltimore. And then when I was in New England, that was our toughest game usually to Baltimore, was that divisional game. It was always tough because we played a tough team like the Ravens, coming off a win, being doubted. So I really think it's hard.
What advice would you give? Like, what advice? So, like, I'm thinking, like, you had Bill, you had Vrabel, who's this, like, maverick, but the Broncos have Sean, who's insane. He loves data. He knows all the stuff that you're saying. He has thought. I wonder, like, what, like, you're a genius. What would you say, like, they should do? Because I understand. I know what you're saying about Bo and all of that, but Sean, when Sean took that bye and took a team to the Super Bowl and won it, with the Saints. Last time Sean had a bye, he won the first game out of it. Like there's, you know.
Who was his quarterback on the Saints?
No, I know. So it's about Bo. It's about Bo. So what could he do? Is there anything he can do with Bo this week?
I love Bo Nix personally. I love Bo Nix. He's a great player. I'm just saying, as a whole, it's hard to play off that bye week. In general, it's not always an advantage. We always view it, the bye week, and the odds say that team makes it the most. Who's the quarterback? When Mahomes has the bye week, that might help. When Brady has the bye week, they go to, but that might not work this year.
And there's nothing you can do to.
Well, you got to start fast, right? You got to start fast. Obviously, you don't want to get too. You don't want to get behind.
No, I'm just thinking, like, do they go out there and do that? Like, what could they do with Bo to make sure that he doesn't, isn't what you're saying is like a little rusty, like not rusty, but like
a little rust.
Right.
Yeah.
What could you do? I wonder if Sean's probably going to do some crazy stuff. What?
It sounds crazy, but
tell me.
Get him in rhythm early. Get him hit early. Run Bo Nix. Get him hit. Get him in the game. Make plays like that early, right? Don't feel it out. Put the ball in his hands early.
Yeah.
And get the man in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to play a team that's coming off a win, and they're probably going to be playing their best football of the season. So get them in the game early. A lot of quarterbacks say, hey, when I took that first hit, I really woke up, right? And it's not just the quarterback. It could be the defense, right? The defense hasn't played. Sometimes they haven't played in 2 weeks, depending if they rest their starters, right? So it's a while, but you got to get in the game early. You want to start fast. Denver's built to play from ahead because of that pass rush that they have, right?
100%.
So they want to play from ahead. So they got to start fast. I think it's a big deal because when you have an underdog coming in your house as a 1 seed and they stick in that game through halftime, they start believing they can knock you off. So you want to, as a higher ranked team, you kind of want to handle business early and often.
I'm glad that you're making me feel smart because all year with these slow starts with Bo in the beginning, I'm like, get him running. Design runs for this man. And they have a little bit, and they've opened up the playbook as I think that trust and that chemistry has grown between Sean and he. Super, super interesting. I didn't know. Do you think how will it affect Justin Herbert? I'm sure you'll agree he's banged up, so he should have sat out, right? But they basically said, take the 1 seed, Broncos division rival, and we're going to rest up. And that's probably the right decision. How will that affect him in this game?
Look, he was banged up, right? So a healthier, a 90% version is better than a 70%. And no one's 100% this time of year. They're just not. The season's so long, no one's really 100%. So when your quarterback's that banged up, but why is he banged up? Because their tackles have been hurt all year. And the Patriots have a great pass rush, a great team pass rush. They don't have elite individual rushers, but they rush well as a team. That's not good for the Chargers. And the Patriots have some great corners as well to match up with those really good route runners. So like I said, I don't like the matchup for the Chargers here.
Right.
Herbert's been banged up all year. Why? Because they can't protect him. And Mike Vrabel knows that they can't protect him. So everything that's given them issues all year, straight up, Vrabel's going to bring that. He's going to hit the quarterback and man up. Man to man. I love Lad McConkey. Keenan Allen's like the Allen Iverson of my era. That guy gave me problems.
100%.
The Slayer gave me problems.
Of course.
Right? He gave me personal. He's got a bag. He's like Jamal Crawford. He's like your favorite receiver's favorite receiver, right? But when you have Christian Gonzalez, he can stay square. He can stay patient for all that. So it's just not the best matchup for the Chargers. But Herbert's got to get the ball out of his hand. If he gets hit,
it was and he did say, by the way, that he resting it felt better. There probably wasn't another option, but they could have gone for a different matchup than this. You keep saying it's a bad matchup that I'm like, I kind of hate it for them. I hate it for them. I want them.
It is what it is. You're in the dance, so you got to get dancing. It is what it is.
You got to dance. It is what it is. A little coaching news before you go, because 2 teams you played for have some openings. Maybe you should put your resume on the table. Giants, Titans, young quarterbacks at the helm. Where's the most desirable gig between those two?
Well, I think, wow, you know what? They got pros and cons of both. I think New York's more desirable. You have the young wide receiver, young quarterback, young running back. It's the New York market. But you got that GM, Joe Shane, I'm not fond of. I'm just not fond of him. From my experience with him, I don't know why he does what he does. I know he lets a lot of Pro Bowlers walk and play for different teams and whatnot. So I don't think that's good. But so you have to have someone that wants to inherit that, inherit Joe Shane. And how long does Joe Shane have, right? Where the Titans have Cam Ward, but beyond him, they don't have a lot on that roster. It's warmer, it's tax-free, but New York with the market. Look, I think Kevin Stefanski got to go to one of them, period. I like Kevin Stefanski. I played against Kevin Stefanski. I just called the Browns game, sat down with Kevin Stefanski. I know he's a Northeast guy. He's from Philly. He grew up, in that area. When you live in Philly, I'm from South Jersey, you grow up watching the NFC East. You're watching the Eagles, you're watching the Cowboys, you're watching the Giants, and you're watching the Commanders now every single day. And it's religion up there. It's like SEC football. It's a big deal up there, pro football. So I think Stefanski should be the Giants' #1 pick right away. Call him, get that done. If not, go to Tennessee. It's just these GMs at both places. Do coaches want to work for these GMs is the biggest question.
Stefanski over Harbaugh to the Giants.
I just don't think Harbaugh is going to go to the Giants because of the GM. I think Harbaugh wants to go where he can bring his own GM, right? And I think
couldn't he do that? Couldn't he? In a negotiation with Mara, you don't think Harbaugh could go and say, "I want Shane out of here. I want to pick my own future," and that happens for him? Doesn't he have that kind of pedigree? I don't know. If you see Joe Shane getting fired, it's for Harbaugh, 100%. If they can get Harbaugh, then if Joe Shane got fired, it was for Harbaugh. That's it. Right now, as it's standing, Harbaugh's not going to go work for Joe Shane. I think he'll go to Atlanta, where there's no GM at the moment, or Miami just hired a GM, a few minutes ago or whatnot. So maybe that might be out for Miami. But if Joe Shane gets fired, that's for John Harbaugh. Why did Joe let you guys walk? How do you see that now? Well, I mean, when you're in it, it's emotional. But why did, it was you, but it wasn't, you were there for a year with the previous regime. He comes in, it wasn't just you. You're saying he let Pro Bowl, how do you see that now?
Look, I had just signed I was there for 2 years. I signed a contract extension to essentially retire a Giant. I'm from New Jersey.
I remember.
And that's what I wanted. But, he came in and obviously new regime, and he wanted to get under the cap, a lot under the cap. So that means you're going to cut or trade a lot of veterans. And he went to everybody and, decided to move on a different direction with pretty much the entire team. And you're going to see from Xavier McKinney and Leonard Williams and Saquon and Daniel Jones, those are really good young players. Julian Love, So I thought, hey, maybe they released me because we have Julian Love and Xavier McKinney in the same safety room. And I understand that. Those guys are going to be studs. I helped, do whatever I could do, and we had Jabril Peppers as well in one safety room. So there was talent there. But then when Julian Love and Xavier McKinney walk as well, they all wanted to stay. They don't get deals. They're like, Logan, what's going on? I'm like, welcome to a GM that is doing whatever he wants to do. So we don't have the answer there, but I'm happy for those guys. They're playing well. I know a lot of those guys wish they stayed in New York, but they're happy where they're at. They're in the playoffs. They're starring for top teams, and they're definitely showing what they're capable of.
Logan, you are so amazing. I know that you know how good you are. You are so good on TV. And I've known this for 10 years, so it's fine. But thank you for your insight, for your candor. You're the best. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'll see you hopefully Super Bowl week or something.
Yeah, we'll be there all week. Maybe we can get you on. I'm sure I'll see you running around doing your thing. And congrats on CBS. Incredible.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Kay.